All right. What's up, everybody? My people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, all the way out to Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back out with another video. This is going to be another entry to the Greatest Team Ever series. This one's going to be on, in my view, one of the more underrated teams in the Super Bowl era, the 1983 LA Raiders, who were, to me, an all-time great team. I think they can compete with any of the other all-time great teams in Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. You know, the 98 Broncos, the 92 Cowboys, the 89 49ers, the 04 Patriots, any of the all-time great teams, this team could compete with. And this team was stacked. This team was stacked with Hall of Famers and very good Pro Bowl caliber players. Of course, it's the only Super Bowl that the city of LA has ever witnessed. Because the Rams have yet to win one. And, of course, the Raiders never won shit again in LA after that, have won shit since this. But let's go into further depth about this team. Now, the Raiders had won the Super Bowl 3 years prior, Super Bowl 15. Led by this man right here, Jim Plunkett, who was Super Bowl MVP. He believed he threw 3 touchdowns in the game and a blowout victory, 27-10 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. That 80 Raiders team had Jim, and that 1980 Oakland Raiders team had Jim Plunkett, had this brother right here, Cliff Branch, who unfortunately passed away. And Cliff Branch should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Matt Millen, who was a rookie, middle linebacker. The Judge, a.k.a. Lester Hayes, who should also be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, who was the Defensive Player of the Year in 1980, and he led the NFL with 13 interceptions. Of course, future Hall of Famer and All-Century team member, Ted Hendricks. This team also had future Hall of Famers like Art Shell and Gene Upshaw, who Art Shell retired after, I believe, 1982. Gene Upshaw retired after 1981. Rest his soul, those two other Hall of Famers. And, of course, Rod Martin, who had 3 interceptions in that game. A lot of people say he could have got the Super Bowl MVP, but the reason he didn't is because he was using Stickum. So I think that the voters like, nah, we're just going to give it to the quarterback, which is fair. But my thing is Stickum wasn't banned until 1981, which is why I've always said Lester Hayes should be in the Hall of Fame because look what he did before Stickum. He was a damn good corner after the Stickum, so I think he should be in. That's just me. And, of course, tight end Todd Christensen. Those guys were on the 1980 team, and all those guys were on the 1983 team. The 1983 team featured some new faces, such as Howie Long, who was drafted in 1981, became a future Hall of Famer. Of course, the great Marcus Allen, who was Rookie of the Year in 1982, who he would go on to be a future league MVP. And Marcus Allen, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated running backs ever. Like, this dude, go watch his highlights. This man, Marcus Allen, could do anything. He could throw, he could catch, he could run routes like a receiver. He read the hole. He hit the hole. Sometimes he danced around the backfield. Sometimes. Yeah, I'll admit that. But, this dude was a great running back. And, of course, you had Lyle Alzado, who they called Darth Raider. He was probably the most feared, the most intimidating player in the NFL at that time. And you had rookie Greg Townsend, who, if I remember correctly, is literally straight out of Compton. Those are some new faces on the team. And, of course, future Hall of Famer and All-Century team member Mike Haynes, who once paired with Lester Hayes, who they traded for middle of the season. And once he was paired with Lester Hayes, they became probably the best cornerback tandem in NFL history. Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes. And when the Raiders finished that season 3rd in points scored, 7th in yards gained, they ranked 13th in points allowed, but 4th in yards allowed. The Raider defense, of course, had 3 Hall of Famers, Ted Hendricks, Mike Haynes, and Howie Long. And in my opinion, Lester Hayes should get in, but that's just me. So you had 3 Hall of Famers and another potential Hall of Famer on that defense. Nobody talks about the defense, and we'll get what they did to the Redskins in a minute. And look at some of the teams they beat. They dominated some of these teams. The Oilers 20-6, the Broncos 22-7. They had a couple close ones, like the Cowboys beat 40-38. And, of course, they lost to the Redskins in a close one. Lost to Seattle in a close one. But, they blew up the San Diego Chargers. Air Coryell, who at that time was probably the top offense in the NFL, 30-14. Blew them out 30-14. In the postseason, they destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers 38-14. There you see Cliff Branch. And then the AFC Championship game, they got their revenge on the Seattle Seahawks by defeating them 30-14, and they advanced to the Super Bowl, where they faced the highest scoring offense in NFL history to that point, the 1983 Washington Redskins, who went 14-2, scored 541 points in the season, which was a record until the Vikings broke it in '98. And Joe Theismann was the league MVP. And I believe John Riggins set the NFL record for most rushing touchdowns a season, 24. And of course, Emmitt Smith broke it 12 years later in '95. This team, that offense had Art Monk, still had the Hogs. They were a top team. And of course, they beat the Raiders in a close one in the regular season. But it came Super Bowl Sunday, it wasn't even close. The Raiders just dominated them throughout the whole game. They blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown. Marcus Allen rushed for, a Super Bowl record, 191 rushing yards. Rushing yards on 20 carries. Jim Plunkett hit Cliff Branch in the end zone with a perfect pass. And of course, one of the most iconic moments of Super Bowl history. Marcus Allen's legendary 74-yard run, which at the time was Super Bowl record until Willie Parker broke it in Super Bowl 40. Look, can't even catch him. And one of the knocks on Marcus Allen coming out of college that he wasn't fast. Well, there's track speed and there's football speed. Two different things. Like I said, I believe he had 2 or 3 touchdowns in the game, which ties the Super Bowl record. At the time, it was Super Bowl record, but it's been tied since. He had 20 carries, 191 yards. He was clearly the Super Bowl MVP. Although if you could give it to the entire defense, they probably would have got it. And of course, in last play before halftime, Joe Theismann threw a pass to the running back Joe Washington on a screen pass, which was intercepted by the linebacker Jack Squirick. At the end of halftime, the play was called rocket screen. People talk about the Seattle throwing on the goal line against the Patriots was dumb. Go watch that rocket screen play. That was a dumbass call. Of course, the Raiders won their 3rd Super Bowl in franchise history, and that was the last time the Raiders won the Super Bowl. The '83 Raiders, one of the greatest teams to me in NFL history. And of course, this is where the iconic term "just win, baby" came from. Because Al Davis in the post game, getting interviewed by CBS, he uttered the immortal words. But hey, what do you think? Are the '83 Raiders one of the all-time greatest teams to you? Are they overrated? Are they underrated? Do you agree that some of the players like Lester Hayes should be in the Hall of Fame? Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. And tell me what other teams do you want me to see me do a video on in terms of the greatest team ever. All right? See you all.